Piano man Grahame. You are a British piano player, but tonight you play at the Towers Irish pub in Ludwigsburg. You are originally from Milton Keynes. How is the local cultural scene there, as of it's famous as one of the first planned cities in the UK?
Well, inside the UK, Milton Keynes has a little bit of a reputation, unfairly I think, of having a smaller or no cultural music and art scene, but it's actually not the case when you live there. I worked quite closely with a few people doing various different band nights, plays, photography and art exhibitions and stuff. It's thriving, I'd say. It's getting better, I think. It doesn't have the same cultural history as a city like London or Manchester or Liverpool or Glasgow in the UK, but you know, it's getting there. I'd say it's growing, but it's not big yet.
You played on cruise ships. How is the audience there? What are the most exotic destinations where you've been at?
The audiences on cruise ships can vary quite wildly depending on the destination of the ship and the time of year. Outside of sort of school holidays and things like that, the crowd tend to be a little older, which suits me down to the ground because my favourite kind of music to play are the older songs, your Frank Sinatra, your Beatles, Elvis Presley, things like that. That's not to say that in sort of spring break time in the US you can't have a bit of fun with some more contemporary things, sing-alongs, that kind of thing. So a little bit of everything. In terms of my favourite destinations, I've always really liked the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Mainly because they tend to be the kind of itineraries that the more fun people come on. For me, it's always been about the audience. As much as I've enjoyed traveling around the world and I've been many places, it's always really been about having a good crowd in the bar at night. But yeah, I'd say the Caribbean and the Bahamas are my favorite destinations. St. Martin particularly.
Where you had the best and the worst audiences?
Oh, best audiences, probably the United States, and the worst, probably when I lived in Australia. Not that Australian people aren't lovely, but I think just the crowds I was playing to weren't particularly friendly. That said, before I did all that when I was much younger and I was playing in London, there were some pretty rough crowds sometimes, you know. I'm not everyone's cup of tea.
How you got to Ludwigsburg?
I fell in love with my wife, well, my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife. She lived here, and so I moved here. Simple as that.
What are your plans for the near future?
Well, I'm working with Chris, the owner of Towers. We're going to do a couple more dates before the summer, and then we're going to start it up again after the summer. So once the weather cools down a little bit, we'll be running into Christmas. Other than that, I'm not too sure. To be honest with you, I'm open to suggestion, but nothing else major planned just now.